And welcome everybody I'm really excited today because we have Cara Wright with us. Thank you, Cara.
Thank you. I'm excited too.
So if you guys don't know, Cara is a Access Consciousness certified facilitator and was a birth doula for how many years?
I think it was like 15, and I still sporadically work as a doula. I don't really attend births anymore, but yeah.
For those of you that do not know what a doula is, would you like to give a quick summary of that?
Yeah. Well, actually, too, it's interesting how I even became a doula. I became a doula long before. I didn't know what a doula was when I started being a doula. So I actually started out by doing prenatal and postnatal yoga, and my classes were a lot about birth preparation and what's actually physiologically going on in your body, not just about doing yoga poses. So it just naturally happened that women in my classes started asking if I would go to their births. And so I started going and attending births, which is what a doula is. It's a labor support person. So different doulas have different backgrounds. They have different ways of doing the work, but basically it's that you're there with the woman while she's having the baby, and you provide prenatal and postnatal support as well. So I just naturally started going to these births, and then I realized like 2 or 3 years later, there was actually a name for it. So yeah.
So it's funny. So if you guys are watching this, we have an amazing Facebook group, Access Bars 365. Yes. And I think there's like 40,000 people in there now. And a lot of questions come up over and over again about bars. And yes. Can I run a bar if someone's pregnant? Can I run their bars? Does it, will it hurt them? Is it okay? And about babies and about after that. So Cara, you have a lot of, I would just love to ask you those questions so that people finding this video. Cool. Yeah. So can you run someone's bars who's pregnant, and what can it contribute?
Please do, as much as you can, as often as possible. It is like, I could probably go on for about a week about how much it can contribute to women running their bars. And in fact, when I found Access about 8 years ago, I actually found it for personal reasons. I was asking for something greater for my own life. And I went to a bars class, having never had my bars run. I actually went to bars and a foundation class all in one weekend. And I remember sitting in the bars class going, okay, if this does what they say it does, this is going to be so great for my clients. Because one of the biggest things that can be a bit of a hurdle to climb really during, like, right before baby's born, during birth and postpartum, is a woman's points of view about all of it. Like everything that she's decided, everything that she's bought, if she's had previous births, everything she's had experientially in the previous births. And if you've been with a woman in labor, you know that she'll always hit this moment where everything will just stall and slow down, and things will get really weird. And like 99.9% of the time, it's because she has some sort of point of view that she cannot get by. And that point of view is completely affecting her labor. So I was very excited when I first learned the bars, because I was like, holy shit, this is going to be great. So I also am one of those people who isn't just like, I don't just believe things out of the gate. I'm a bit of a skeptic. And so I was like, okay, I'm just going to so I literally went home and just said to my current clients, like, hey, I learned this new thing. I'm going to do it on you a couple times before you go, you have baby. And most of them knew me, trusted me. They were like, whatever. I don't even really think I explained to them what I was doing in the beginning, because I didn't know how to explain bars. And I'm sure some of you were like that. You're like, I don't know. I'm just going to do this thing. Most of the time they would just sleep or, be really relaxed. They enjoyed it. And what showed up at births was far greater than I could have even imagined. Like, I went from an average of, when I would leave for a birth, I was usually gone anywhere from 12 to 36 hours. And what started to occur is that I don't think after I started running bars with my clients, and I would do it, at least 3 to 4 times before they went into labor. Oftentimes I would run bars in like early labor, just depending on what was going on for them, where they were at. And I started births were like 6 to 8 hours after that. And I'm not exaggerating. It's a huge difference. So yeah, I'm very excited to be actually finally, after all these years, talking about this with my pre-access.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, how easy is that too? And someone's commenting that they can't share the video out of this group. This bars group is a closed group, which is not like so people can talk about things, but you can invite anyone to this group to watch this. Anyone can be in this Facebook group. So invite them to this group to share this. We'll pin this video in the announcements, like the replay too. But that a lot of modalities or things. I mean, I know when I was pregnant, I was willing to, if someone would have told me 1 or 2 bar sessions, 3 or 4 would have changed that, even taken an hour or 2 off of the labor. But it's not a huge, I mean, there's so many things you do as a pregnant woman, like that, you know, but like how you eat the whole 9 months. But you're telling me I have 3 times if I just lay down and relax and get my bars run. So it can be something really, such a contribution, easy, because it's when you're pregnant, you're like, I'll try whatever. I mean,
totally. And the other cool thing about bars is it doesn't matter what kind of birth you're preparing.
Yeah.
You can be choosing any, because we all, like any of you that know anything about pregnancy and birth, there is a litany of choices. Like you could have like from birthing in the forest with your friend to hospital birth. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of different choices out there. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what birth preparation you've chosen. Because if you start to get into birth preparation, there's a whole nother, like, you got 1,000,001 choices of like different styles of learning how to prepare yourself for birth. And you can do bars with all of them. It doesn't matter. It's not like you can do it with anything. So that's another really amazing thing. Also, your loved ones can learn how to run your bars. You could literally, you and your partner or your husband or your sister or your best friend, people who are going to be around you during your birth, they can learn how to run bars in one day. And now you have like someone who literally could run your bars every single day. So it's such an easy thing to add, and it makes a huge difference. Yeah. Just huge.
Well, I mean, when you describe bars, it is hard to describe, but when you say it gets rid of your points of view that hold things, that can stop things or hold things in place, which shows up in labor. I mean, also how many people read what to expect when you're expecting. The bars gets rid of expectations and projections. And I know, like from my birth, I had expected and projected it to be this perfect way. And when it wasn't, my whole world seemed to fall apart. And then I found access bars after.
Yeah. But I mean, how much did it help you after to kind of begin to let go of all of those things? Because that's the other thing is like postpartum. I mean, the one thing that is consistent with birth is that it's completely not consistent. Like it never shows up like you think it's going to. I don't care what kind of a planner you are. And there are some women that, you know, can make it occur a particular way. And for the most part, it will always have something that shows up that's different. So if you're someone who's a bit type A, a bit of a perfectionist, and your birth goes a little bit off your birth plan, it can really disturb you for a long time. So bars, again, such a cool thing to add to your
Can you say more about that? Postpartum for the mom and the baby. And that's when I found it. And it got me over the PTSD and the depression from that birth that didn't go the way I expected or planned. And then I know for me, like bars for my children running, I wouldn't trade that gift for anything. Can you talk more a bit about, is it okay to run bars on babies and new moms, all that?
Oh my gosh. Yes. So, and also one of the things that if you're not necessarily in the birth community and aware of this, like the first 3 months of your baby's life, they call it the 4th trimester for a reason. It's like your baby is basically out of your belly, but still in your womb. Like, so energetically, if you run a woman's bars in that first 3 months, you are also like the baby is also receiving that session. And when a woman is pregnant, the babies receive the sessions as well. So we talk a lot about how, you know, when you're pregnant and you have points of view, and it doesn't even necessarily have to be about pregnancy. It could be like maybe, you know, sometimes when you get pregnant, and this is weird, I know, but people have marital stuff going on. They have like stuff comes up around family. They have all these things that start to come up. And a lot of women, one of the stressors they had that I heard all the time was they would be worried that if they were going through stressful times personally, that it would be somehow affecting the baby. And it actually does. Babies are aware of your points of view. They're aware of everything going on in your body. They're aware of your heartbeat. They're aware of your respiration. They're aware of chemically everything going on in your body. And you can actually, like, they don't know what stress is, but you can stress their little bodies out as things are, you know, developing and growing. And so when you run bars on a woman who's pregnant, the baby is also receiving the effects of that session. And one of the coolest things for me was when I would run bars on women who were pregnant, was that the way the babies would respond, which was always unique to the baby. Some of them would get super mobile and like start to move around and like do flips and all that stuff. Some of them would chill out and just be super spaced. You could totally perceive the baby's just being when you ran bars. And women would have a different connection with baby after bars, whether or not they knew that that's what was going on or not. It totally happened. And all of that is very similar to that 3 months after. And then once a baby's, 4 months or more, you can I ran bars on babies all the time. Babies they're not coming in as a blank slate, guys. They're beings that are coming in with, all sorts of stuff. And, it's like, you can't isolate yourself from the world. You can't totally like protect your kids and your unborn children from your environment, from what's going on, from being stressed out. I used to tell women all the time, it's like, you can't expect to be some like meditative state for 9 months. Like, it's not realistic. So in comes bars. Like, what if you didn't have to be perfect and you could get your bars run a few times, and that would make a big difference.
The resiliency, like when you said that, no matter what shows up, like as an adult, but as kids, like I saw too, like when my kids went to school and I'd run their bars, like you can't protect them, but they can become very resilient, as you can, as like, show me anything, whatever shows up, bullying at school, stress in my like marriage or job. But if like there's this space that bars gives you, that then no matter what comes your way, it's like resilient is just the word that comes up. Like, I can deal with it. I've got it. Like,
yeah. And it's cool. You can easily use, it's like bars are magic because they help with so much and they're so easy to apply.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who you are, what you are, where you are, when you are, what's going on. It doesn't matter. They will always provide some sort of new space, new choice, new relief. They're phenomenal.
And then I think, so you have a question. I think I'm going to ask this right. I don't know if you're looking in the comments. To be sound like a meditative state for 9 months as the facilitator or the practitioner, how do you bring ease to you and protect you from legal complaints?
Well, bars are, you just put your hands on the person's head. They get out of the session what they're going to get out of the session. Like I said in the very beginning, I was more just like, this is going to be relaxing and I don't really know what else to say. And I had created a rapport with women, so like I have clients that they trusted me, and like legality wise, like it's no different than if you were going to run bars with anyone else. Like, sure, there's some people out there that might choose that, but I've never had a problem. So what else is possible?
I know, as I didn't have a doula that knew access tools, but I was like, touch me anywhere. Like, I got to lay down. It wouldn't have mattered. What?
I'm a business owner. I have always been a business owner. I've always owned my own studios. I used to have a limited liability company. Now I have something that's even more similar to that. When I was actually attending births and doing yoga in my studio all the time, I had insurance. So, there's basics that you choose. And, I'm actually just willing to stand in that space.
And one thing I want to ask you before is also, we get a lot of questions in this group about like with babies or kids, how long do I run their bars? Like, is it different than adults? What is that like? Because you get a wait.
Stop. Like babies and kids are real, like, they're not subtle, like they will basically, it's like when you're doing body processes on animals, they just get up and walk away. You will know. Yeah, you will know because they, and they're very fast, obviously. Like, you're not going to hold an implant band for 30 minutes on a baby.
Yeah.
It won't require that. So yeah, just be in your knowing for that one.
Yeah.
Like, I would love to say, please just trust you and just do it. Cause like, I just was like, at that point I had been going to births for 15 years. And I was like, it's not going to hurt anything. You are not like, remember that people always have choice. You are not putting energy into them. You're not taking energy out. You are literally just you are allowing their bars to run, and whatever they decide to change, shift, dissipate, that's up to them. And the baby also has choice. So you're not actually doing anything to them. You are providing a space for them to choose something different.
Yeah. And there's story after story. I mean, you've probably heard of different things that can change, but it's like, you can never promise something. You don't know. Like you said, there's choice, the baby and the mom and you, but it's like the possibilities that can open up for a lot more ease.
Well, that's the other thing too. Like when I found Access, like I would say one thing about the birth community is it's pretty polarized, right? So like people have like an idea of what they've decided is the right way to give birth. Most people do. I mean, you'll run into 85-year-old grandpas who have a point of view about how you should have your baby. They're usually the most outspoken ones for whatever reason. But people have like this weird thing around birth. It's like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And I mean, it's one of the most annoying things to pregnant women is they'll come into class. They used to come into class and be like, oh my God, I was at the grocery store today and this person just like assaulted me with their stories. It happens. And it's because this area, like so many people have points of view about there's a right way and there's a wrong way. And the thing that I love about bars and access tools and pregnancy and birth and postpartum is that is the whole point. What if there isn't a right way or a wrong way? What if there is a way that works for you and the baby in that moment? Because it's like birth is unpredictable, full stop. There is no, and anybody who's like holding themselves and I was guilty of this, like with my clients, like buying in so dynamically to how they wanted births to go that I would leave just distraught, disappointed, upset at myself. I would be like so hard on myself as well as them, them being hard on themselves. So there was a huge amount of freedom for me too, because it's like, you just can't predict the way things are going to go. And what if you don't know the way things are supposed to, like, what if you can have an idea of what you would like to create and then be in the question of what works when you're actually in the moment of birth, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And Fogue just put a comment here. I ran bars on a 6-month-old teething baby for 5 minutes and he slept through the night for the following 3 nights. His parents were shocked. Yeah. That's all.
Yeah. And it's simply just doing it. It's not so, so like, what if you just were to try it and see what shows up?
Oh, one other thing I saw when we posted about this live, someone had asked a question about infertility in bars.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Again,
do you want to?
Yeah. I mean, that's one of my personal stories is like when I found Access, my husband and I had been trying to conceive for 6 years and it was very stressful, as you can imagine. And I actually do not have children. I have 4-legged children. And the space that Access and the bars gave me around that and the awarenesses that I got around that of what I actually desired to create and choose in my life was very different than I thought. Like I was just going along thinking, I got married. This is what you do now. Like I had the whole 2.5 kids, whole picket fence. I had all of these friends because I had doula clients and pregnant, like I had all these people that I was going to be friends with when I eventually had kids. I had the whole thing going. And for me, what Access changed was that I was able to let go of that story and create something new for me. Now, for other people, they can get their bars run and get pregnant. Like I know, Emily, you've ran people's bars that were having issues and they got pregnant. So again, it's not about having a target of like, if you do this, it will create this. It's more of do it and then be in the question of like, wow, what's this going to create?
Yeah.
And either way, it will always like I said, I mean, when I found Access, and I think probably in the beginning, I was like, my point of view was like, okay, this maybe will help me get pregnant. And then I realized that really wasn't what I wanted to create in my life. I was more functioning from other people's points of view. And I also was able to completely change because after 6 years of infertility, you have a very disturbed relationship with your body as a woman. You just do. Like mentally, it's very difficult. So the other thing that I was able to really change was how I was with my body. I mean, I was mean. I hated my body. I was so upset at my body every single friggin' month. And that completely changed for me. So again, what if it's not about a result? It's about like, what is this? Like, what am I actually doing? Because when like my husband and I both, and I think he just wanted to support me in what I wanted. And I wanted so bad what I thought to have kids that when I finally like was able to just relax, I mean, the relief in his friggin' world, I can't even explain it like so much. And now we laugh. We're like, okay. I mean, if we had gotten pregnant, it would have been great. And we look at that and we're like, kind of happy with how things are. So yeah.
Yeah.
Never think it's going to.
And that judgment of your body, I love. And I mean, think of as new moms too, like how many women are in judgment of their bodies, what's going on, the gift that bars can be. And like, it's just choice. I also know I ran bars when I used to be in that community too with little ones, and everyone had the right idea of what the right type of birth was. And I had a friend who had a stillbirth, and she had so many people again telling her what she had done wrong to cause that. I mean, I mean, and I was just, can I come over? I just learned this new thing called the bars. All you need to do is sit down. And the relief in her world, she was like, this is the first hour of peace I've even had since. And so whatever, if you guys know anyone this would contribute to see this video, like invite them to the group. Cara, you have like more coming up on this topic because it's a huge one. How can people find out more about it?
So I actually have a call that I'm doing on March 7th. And it's Baby Talk presents the bars. I also have Baby Talk, which is a group that I have that is not just about bars, but it's about all things consciousness, pregnancy, birth, postpartum. And you can find that on Facebook. It's called Baby Talk with Cara. And I also have a website you can go to, and we'll put the link to the call. It's like very well priced. I think it's $25 because I really want to get this information into the hands of people that it would benefit, because I know it makes such a huge difference. So I'll put a link in the
comments.
Thank you.
Put the link in the comments. That link you could share anywhere so anyone can find out more and like find out more about the conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, I do Baby Talk. Oh, Tracy already put it in there.
Put the link to the group.
I do Baby Talk Tuesdays as well. So Baby Talk is a creation that I am in the process of, I guess, birthing at this point. And it's, like I said, I do Baby Talk Tuesdays. I do it all different kinds of topics. You can come in there and ask questions. You can ask me to do topics every week. I have a wealth of information and my awareness about this particular topic. So I just chose to start to get it out there.
I'm really glad you did. Can I say thank you?
Yes.
Thank you. Because there's a lot of questions and there's so much possibility. Like you said, a lot of people just don't have the information or know. So to get it out there more so people have choice.
Yeah. And also if I can provide just that, like, if you did take it serious, if you didn't have to do it right, if you didn't have to be concerned that you were touching a pregnant woman, like, what could you create? Like, what if it's not that significant? What if you could just choose it, have fun, and see what shows up?
Thank you, Cara.
Thank you for having me on, Miss Emily.
You're welcome. And thank you everyone for being here, and go check out or share the links with anyone else that this might contribute to.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye. Bye, everybody. Bye, Cara.